Trump attacks Fed chair again but backs away from drastic moves amid market concerns. President Trump has once again criticized Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, accusing him of political bias and being too slow to cut interest rates. Publicly, Trump expressed strong frustration, even threatening Powell's removal. However, insiders say the president has grown more cautious, fearing that such a drastic move could destabilize already fragile financial markets. Amid ongoing trade tensions and aggressive tariffs announced by the Trump administration, financial markets have been turbulent. Trump's economic team has warned him that firing Powell would be both legally complicated and potentially disastrous for investor confidence. Privately, Trump is reportedly worried about triggering a financial crisis similar to the Great Depression, which he refers to as 1929. Earlier this month, Trump's tariff escalation rattled markets, causing a sharp drop in stocks and U.S. government bonds. Powell responded by warning that the tariffs could cause inflation and slow economic growth, signaling that the Fed would not rush to lower rates further, without clearer economic data. Although Trump briefly eased tariffs in response to market pressure, he quickly reversed course, raising them again, particularly on Chinese imports, while exempting popular consumer electronics. These back-and-forth decisions have left markets nervous and have not changed the Fed's cautious stance. At a recent speech, Powell emphasized the Fed's responsibility to prevent inflation from taking root while reaffirming the need for patience in changing interest rates. His comments, coinciding with similar moves by the European Central Bank, may have reignited Trump's anger. Despite Trump's repeated complaints that Powell is acting against him, his advisors say he is unlikely to fire the Fed chair. Trump nominated Powell in his first term, and President Biden later reappointed him. Powell's term as chair ends in 2026, but he could remain on the Fed's board until 2028. Trump is expected to start interviewing candidates to eventually replace Powell, with Kevin Warsh, an economist and former Fed governor, emerging as a top contender. Warsh had been considered for key roles during Trump's first term. Legally, removing Powell would be extremely difficult. The Federal Reserve Act only allows the removal of Fed governors for cause, typically meaning misconduct. Powell himself has stressed that the Fed's independence is protected by law and broadly supported in Congress. Meanwhile, the Trump administration has challenged the autonomy of several federal agencies, arguing that limits on the president's power to fire agency heads are unconstitutional. These challenges are heading to the Supreme Court, which temporarily allowed Trump's dismissals of other officials, while the legal process continues. Though Powell believes the court's decision may not directly impact the Fed, he acknowledged that the central bank is monitoring the situation closely to safeguard its independence, a cornerstone of economic stability in the U.S.